by the end of this video, you're going to know how to make this dining table. I borrowed the tabletop idea from Crafted Workshop, but I decided to make mine out of 4x4 construction lumber rather than really expensive hardwood epay. I first start by rough cutting everything down to an approximate size that makes it easier to work with these large boards. Since I have a joiner and a planer, I decided to mill everything up accordingly. After I have everything milled down, I needed to cut everything down to exact length. Now, my miter saw station is under-equipped. They say the bandsaw is the most versatile tool in the shop, so I decided to use mine as a stop block. Nothing like 300 pounds of solid cast iron and steel to work as a good stop block. Just like Crafted Workshop, I'll be using all thread, washers, and 5/8 inch nuts to hold everything together. This allows for a little bit of space in between each board for water to seep through on those rainy days. In order to drill all those holes accurately and properly, I made some jigs on my drill press so I could drill each hole individually but still have them be accurate. I drilled a starter hole through the actual jig itself to give accurate placement for when I go to the drill press. For the exterior posts, I used a 2-inch Forstner bit to recess the holes so that way the nuts and bolts won't stick out. Then followed up with drilling a 3/4 inch hole through everything else. After the arduous task of drilling every single one of those holes, I decided to add a large 3/4 inch round over to all 4 sides of the 4x4s. So I put the table together, marked out where the all thread needed to be cut, went over to my vise, used a hacksaw and manpower to cut it all down. You can see here is a dry fit setup before any finish or sanding is applied. It looks pretty good. I decided to throw a couple coats of black spray paint on everything just to blend it all together. I had a final round over to the recess holes on the outside and then started hand sanding all of my round over corners. Then another arduous task of sanding all of the 4x4s. I made up my own seal coat of boiled linseed oil, MBS 30, wipe-on poly, and mineral spirits. The MBS 30 is an important step here for outside pine. It's going to help deter any sort of bugs like mosquitoes. I did 8 ounces of poly, 8 ounces of linseed oil, and 8 ounces of mineral spirits, and just topped it off with a little bit of that MBS 30. I apply with a foam brush, let it all seep in, and wipe any excess away after about 10 minutes on each board. I wanted to have an umbrella in the middle of this table. So I had to put everything back together, take a scrap 2x4, drill a 2-inch hole through it, and then use that as a guide for my 2-inch Forstner bit through the center of the table. Cleaned it up with a 1/4 inch round over around the edges, and then moved to the leg assembly. I cut a 15-degree angle on 2 sides of one board, and then another 15-degree angle on 2 sides of 2 more boards. This will make one leg assembly. You can do many different ways, mortise and tenon, all the other different parts, but I wanted this to be easy as construction lumber, and I wanted it out back on my patio sooner than later. I had some glue to the top of the legs and the base assembly, clamped them down to my table, and then drove through 3-inch construction screws all the way through those recessed holes I previously drilled out. And the rest I did off camera. I added a 3/4 inch round over to the legs, and then I coated it in a flat black spray paint. So I grabbed some Totalboat marine wood finish, and this stuff added a great amber color, and 2 or 3 coats seemed to work perfectly fine for this application. Now after I had the table coated down, I grabbed some Totalboat Lust matte finish to seal up the end grain and the rest of the leg base. It's especially important for the bottom of the leg base because it's going to be touching the ground. You don't want it soaking up a lot of water. The final step is attaching the legs to the table. I recessed multiple oversized holes into the bottom of the leg assemblies and then drilled all the way through with a 3/8 inch bit to fit the 1/4 inch bolt. This will allow for wood movement, especially since it's going to be outside. After marking and drilling the holes, I installed the threaded inserts into the bottom of the selected pieces of the table. I waited for a good rain to happen so you could see how well this marine wood finish actually beads up the water. If you like what you saw today, make sure you like and subscribe. Give this patio table a shot for yourself. I have some other videos queued up here and some more coming soon. Happy building.